You're live. Hey there, Soul Shine. It's Michelle here, and I'm coming to you sans makeup. No makeup today. I actually have still been doing the vertigo thing. I'm feeling somewhat better. I'm feeling that I can sit up in front of the computer, so that's cool. If you are new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe. As I love to do, I invite you to wake up and live. So actually really interesting is I think I moved my head a little faster. I think part of the vertigo might have to do with what I actually just got off a coaching call with my new friend. And she kind of helped me to see some of what I was concerned about with becoming the speaker that I want to becoming as big as I want to become, why that's been a little fearful. And I came up with the solution, and that's when I actually started feeling a little better. This idea that when I'm presenting at big events, that I can have an opportunity, like a little meet and greet kind of area built into the event so that people can come and connect with me, because connection is so big for me. So just a moment. Who's there? Me. What do you need? Your mom. Yeah, what do you need?
The turn signal on the other side is out. Is it the top or bottom light that means
top?
The top. I tried telling him that, and he did the bottom instead.
It's the top.
Thanks.
Yep. Sorry about that. Okay, so that was pretty cool. But I wanted to celebrate because she also, just in talking to her, I realized something really cool. I've talked about the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. And I have not felt like I was fully into that abundant mindset. And I'm not sure if I'm still, I'm not sure where I'm at with that, because I still feel like I'm stuck in areas. But I was very pleased with my response to things. There are some really, really, really uncool things to say in life. I'm one of the most horrific, if you will. I don't know if it's quite that bad, but one of the most disempowering manifesting phrases that a person can use is, I can't afford it. And it used to be my number one go-to. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Like, it would be so cool to do this or so cool to do that, but I can't afford it. I was so proud of myself because first of all, when she presented the price of working with her further, I didn't go, that's a lot of money. I just went, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. I mean, granted, I did some math in my head, kind of curious about how much she charged per session, kind of an idea. Not that she charges per session, but like if you were, and I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. I'm so pleased with where I've come, because instead of going to this place of I can't, I went to a place of more of like, okay, I'm not really sure how, but I'm open to the possibility that there is a way. And that's a huge step. That's a huge step to come that far, to come from a place where there was no way possible. Don't even talk to me about it. This is my circumstances and it's not going to happen. I've been there, and to recognize that I've come this far. So what about you guys? Where have you come from in your circumstances? How far have you come? Have you, can you notice the difference? Can you notice that you're not in that same place, that you've improved, that you're here now is in a better space than it was a year ago or a month ago or 10 years ago? I think sometimes what happens is we're going through our lives and I don't think we always give ourselves credit for what we've done, how to recognize how incredible it is to look at it is just, it's just really cool. It's really fun when you see that you've changed your beliefs enough to recognize that instead of going into an automatic shutdown to where, you know, maybe, let's say that sometimes when I've gone into the automatic shutdown, maybe that person actually had a scholarship that she was waiting to offer me if I was in a place where I would have received. But because I automatically said I can't, I closed all doors and made it impossible for a way to manifest. At this point in time, I'm still open to the possibility. She had the one-on-one coaching and then she had group option. And the group option is not as far out of my situation as it could be. I'm seeing that there's possibilities of how it could work. Not sure how, and I haven't closed the door yet. The door is still open, and that's incredible. That's so incredible to come to a place from that. So recognize that, you know, I was down here. Eventually, I want to be up here, but now I'm like maybe here. I've come a ways. Give myself credit for that. Celebrate that. How awesome and incredible is that? We also talked about awareness. You guys should know, if you've been watching me for long, I love awareness. I think awareness is like one of the most important things possible, because if you're not aware of that there's a problem, you're not going to do anything about it. If you become aware of the problem, then you know that you can find solutions, because it's like, you know what you're thinking. It's one of the incredible things is she took me through a little process to kind of evaluate where I was at, and then like more questions were evaluating where I was at, and I was like, I became aware of some of the thinking. I also became aware of a loop that I wasn't even aware of until I was talking to her, that I had this loop. I became aware of possibilities of how things could work. I became aware of that idea of having like a meet and greet thing. I have ideas of how to handle the chats on further YouTube lives when I get to a point where I have a lot of subscribers, and so my lives do bring in a lot of people. I have ideas of how to handle that, and that's really cool, because that was one of the things that was holding me back. It's like, it's so important to me to connect with people. And she also asked me, like, you know, what would happen and if I couldn't connect with people. And my thought was, well, then they won't believe I care about them. And then she asked me if that was true. Or it wasn't so much that they wouldn't believe that I cared about them, but that I would think I don't care about them. And that is so not true, because I am always, it doesn't matter how big I'm going to get, my heart is going to always love the people, because that's just who I am. That's the truth of who I am. And that's really cool to be aware of, to be aware that that was a lie that I was telling myself. What else? What else do I want to say? I'm just really grateful right now. I'm grateful for the awareness of possibilities, the openness to possibilities, to be in that space, knowing that I'm different than I was. This was not originally, first of all, I really did want to get on this morning, but like the vertigo thing, it's been pretty crazy. This has actually been probably the second scariest health situation in my life. The first was when I had a brain fog so bad that when I was having conversation with people, I couldn't understand what they were saying. I would be like disconnected in my mind and going, I know that I should know exactly what you said, but I have no clue what you said. And at the same time, I was in an interpreting program learning sign language. There's that delayed sign language. I was learning sign language, and I remember having conversations with people, and in my brain I was thinking, I know I should know that sign, but I have no clue what you were signing. And it was scary in sign language, and it was terrifying in English to be to the point where carrying on a normal conversation was nearly impossible for me. It was the scariest time in my life. Before that, I had been a person who didn't need a planner to remember what was going on in my life. I just always knew. And so it was especially scary for me to get into that space of complete brain fog and not know what was going on. And now I'm in a different place. I don't have as much of the brain fog, except for when I have a migraine or the vertigo. Then I'm kind of like finding it harder to grasp the thoughts that I want to share. But this is kind of a different kind of scary, because I've had vertigo a couple of other times in my life, but not so close together like this. And usually I either knew I had sinus problems or I could find a solution like that. This is getting pretty scary because I'm having it more often, and I'm having migraines, which I used to not have migraines that often. And I figured out the trigger then, and I have no clue what the trigger is now. So that's really scary. And so I'm kind of in a funny place today. And so that's why I make videos later in the day. I really like doing my videos between 10 and 11. I like that people get on live when I'm doing them at that time. And so that's my goal, is to be on by 10 so that I'm on by 10:30. And so then to have this going on is pretty crazy. Tomorrow morning, I have an event that I'm going to in the morning, and then a meeting in the afternoon. And so if I don't get on early in the morning, then it will end up being later in the evening again. And I really, really prefer to do it in the mornings. So there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about. There is a Facebook friend of mine who sent a link to a Kickstarter she's doing. And she is an artist, and her cards look beautiful from what I could tell. She has painted some cards and then put words on them. You can watch the video on her Kickstarter. What she's doing, depending, like if people are donating the certain amounts of money, then a part of what she's doing, a part of the cards, like you buy some of the cards and then you'll get for a higher amount, you'll also be buying cards to send to a couple of different charities that she's donating the cards to. She's got a goal to produce them, but they're like these beautiful cards with inspirational words and thoughts, reminders that you're worth it. They're things that she's used to help build her self-esteem, and she's wanting to donate them to there's one going to a battered women's shelter to help those women to feel better about themselves, because when we feel better about ourselves, we can get out of those crazy kind of scary situations. And it's a youth, the other one's like a youth organization of some kind, because she really wants to help the youth. And it was such a great cause, and such beautiful, from what I could tell on her pictures, such beautiful opportunity that I have left the link for that Kickstarter in the description box, so you guys can go watch that and decide if it's something you want to participate in. I think it's pretty cool. I was a little unsure. Sometimes people come asking for things. I'm like, everybody's asking for money. But again, I'm in an open space, so I went, I will look at it. I will look and see if it's something that I like. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. I want people to know about it and maybe to donate to her cause, to what she's trying to do. It's pretty cool, if you ask me. Anyway, so those are kind of some of my thoughts. Be sure to celebrate where you've come from. Notice, I know that one of my subscribers that I absolutely adore to watch, she had health issues, which sent her on a healing journey. And I'm pretty sure, knowing how grateful she is that she has celebrated where she's been and where she's come from, or where she's at now. How cool is that to have come so far, to come from a place of not being healthy to a place of being healthy? I think that's so incredible. And it's not just like you can do that in a physical way, you can do that in a mental way. Like so many of the people that I interact with, we're all about mindset and changing our mindsets. Whether it's working with people, changing the present to the future and how they look at the future, which is what my coach did. I just kind of got an understanding of the difference between what she and I do, because we do very similar work. But for me, it's looking at the past and healing the past so that it changes the present and the future. For her, it's looking at what's happening right now and the mindsets that you're in going forward into the future so that you're changing all of that to going forward in the future. And it seems to me like if a person can work with both, a healer and a coach, how cool is that? How awesome would that be? We talked about my dreams for the future, what I want to do with speaking, what I want to do with retreats, how incredible that is. And I'm just so excited about it. It's so incredible to talk about it to people. Like every time I talk about my dream, it just gets bigger for me, which is exciting and helps motivate me to move forward. But also talking about what's holding me back helps me to motivate me to be forward because of that awareness and being able to change my perceptions and look at how I can change things going forward. And then just becoming aware of how far I've come. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I so appreciate you guys. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. I was going to talk about some things I've been learning about chakras. It's like I go on these cycles, and every once in a while I delve into this concept of chakras, especially in how they work with manifesting things and personalities that come with the chakras. And I was going to talk about that today, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Oh, just moved my head wrong. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're celebrating where you've come from. Change is inevitable. Change is perpetual. That's what happens. You're always moving, and hopefully you're moving forward. And give yourself credit for where you've come. Give yourself that credit and that pat on the back and recognition and celebration. And remember to be grateful. Remember to let your soul shine big, bright, live, and beautiful, to be you. And I will see you guys tomorrow.